Welcome to the Motocaddy Masters here at the fabulous Leven Links in Fife, Scotland, the home of golf for the second time this season. After this, there's just the one event remaining to secure that top 60 spot, so the race to the Tour Championship is nearing its dramatic conclusion.
Thanks very much, Gabby. Well, after his win last week, Mitch Waite is surely bound for the 2022 Challenge Tour, and he's got a substantial lead at the top of the order of merit over the very experienced John Parry. But those other players in the top 5 spots at the moment, all still quite vulnerable, with 3 events still to go. And don't forget, £25,000 for the winner of the Tour Championship at the end of it all. So still so much that can change in these final weeks of the PGA EuroPro Tour season. And we've had a delay of an hour to the start of play in the final day of the Motocaddy Masters because of fog. It is now starting to clear. And it's the experienced William Harold out in front, following up his opening 62, with 66 to lead on 12 under by 1 from Robbie Busher. And that man again, Mitch Waite, continuing his exceptional run of consistency. 9 players in total, covered by just 3 shots going into the final lap. And here is Liam Murray, 67 and 64, so in good form, Gary.
Yes, he is, and this opening hole, quite a tricky 420 odd yard par 4, quite a narrow fairway, and as you could see, there's his ball stuck up on the sand hills and all in the lap of the gods on his lie. Everything looking pretty good here, nicely balanced, but it just looked like it was just a straight pull down the left side of the hole.
Now this is David Langley. He opened with a 64, followed it up with a 68. He's already had a birdie today at the first. Back to the first tee, and it's one of these old-style courses, isn't it, Gary, where the first tee is just a few paces away from the 18th green.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful course, Leven Links, and just a few miles from St Andrews, as we see Jack South getting his game underway, but also into a similar position as Liam Murray, just missing the left side of the fairway.
We always associate Leven Links with St Andrews Opens, don't we, Gary? Because so often over the years it's been a final qualifying venue for the home of golf.
Yes, it is. Lovely qualifying venue, and seen some great events.
Fine 63 yesterday for Tom Sloman, and he's parred the first 2 holes today. Bit of work to do, but he'll fancy that his first move today will be a 2-putt birdie. You got to love these old style courses, Gary. They're right in the middle of everything, and you can see the houses nearby, and so many of these Scottish coastal courses are right at the heart of the town.
Absolutely, they are. A small strip of, back in the day, not very good land, and the golf course evolved really rather than they were designed or built, a lot of them. And as you can see there, those tee shots had actually gone over the sandhills and found the 18th fairway, so a pretty good way into the first green. That's the other thing I love about these greens, is the subtleness of the breaks and the borrows on the greens. Tricky to read.
Yeah, these old style courses are so much trickier than they look, but on a day like this, without too much wind around, and what wind there is helping them in the early holes, chance to get some very good scores going.
Absolutely, Michael. These first 3 or 4, definitely a chance. Not much breeze, but it's helping, so making them play much shorter. So you see Sloman.
Yeah, that was Sloman at the 3rd, which was the easiest of the par 4s over the first 2 rounds. Back to Murray now. And he gets his birdie. Missed the cut in his last 2 starts, so clearly heading in the right direction with his form this week.
Langley, this little one, 15 or 16 inches, just to tidy up for his par.
Jack South after that magnificent approach that we saw. A good start to the day for him. He's done well just to make the cut. He'd played 11 events before this one and only made it through to the final round in 4 of them. Now, like Sloman, Robbie Busher shot 63 yesterday. Can he pick up from there? They're all going down that side, Gary.
Yeah, they are, and that's obviously a much easier route to pop it across the little strip of rough. Better line, fairway running fast, and a little bit of breeze, making an easier approach.
Liam Murray's best performance this season came on another links course at Montrose, where he was 19th, but it's his only top 30 finish so far, and he hates that one.
That really is something that you absolutely do hate as a pro. It makes you sort of feel so foolish that you've hit the ground just behind the ball and moved it 20 yards.
Club golfers all over the country, though, watching that and feeling a good deal better about themselves when they see a player at this level produce something like that. Now here's the overnight leader. And as William Harold safely finds the opening fairway, let's hear what Josh Hilliard had to say before the start.
So Josh, you're up there in the leaderboard. You must be pretty pleased with that going into the final day.
Very. Yeah, I mean, I've been playing quite nicely the last couple of weeks, so it's nice to be right at the sharp end again.
Okay, well, we've got one event left before the Tour Championships, as you know. You're in a pretty solid spot for that too. 14th in the order of merit. Have you looked into that a lot, or a little bit? A
little bit, yeah. I mean, it can change so quickly whether you're 14th or 30th, but if you play well, you end up nearer the top, and that's obviously how things work. But yeah, another decent result here, and we get closer to where we want to be. Yeah, and you were close to a win, closest point to a win in Luton a few weeks ago, tied second. Yeah. How do you pick up and try and cross the line after something like that, getting so close? Well, I mean, you can only do what you can do. If somebody comes out and beats you, then that's their problem. They've done well, they've outperformed you, so fair play on them. But I can do what I can do, and we'll see how it goes today. Do you prefer chasing, or would you prefer to be at a point at the top where you're... Well, I've been at the top and I didn't win, so we'll try chasing today and see how that goes. Yeah, well, it's towards the business end now of the tour. Playing week in, week out, you don't really have much downtime, do you? No, not at all. I mean, it is, like you say, it's week in, week out, and a lot of the guys, they do work over weekends, so they come home on a Friday night and they end up obviously straight into a head-down job, trying to obviously earn their way to be able to come and play these events. And then it's straight back again Monday morning for practice, and then into Pro-Am, and then day one on Wednesday. Expectations for today? To go out and do as best I can. I can't do any more than that. Okay, well, best of luck to you. Thank you very much.
It's been so consistent this season. Still looking for that win. Could today be the day?
It may just be, because he certainly has been consistent, and I think he's got a nice game for links golf. You know, he flights the ball in a little bit lower often, and although that one didn't quite run out, you could hear it was a good contact.
Yeah, and he's a player who's improving. He was established as a decent player at this level, but I think he's moved up a notch in this season. Now, back to Busher. He'll be happy with that. He was 10th at Studley Wood, his highest finish of the season so far.
Yes, he's run into a little bit of form. I've watched Robbie Busher over the last few seasons. I think he's a better player than his results have perhaps shown.
Yeah, he's someone who plays a lot of good golf at a tournament, but then just throws in one bad round or even one really bad hole, and it undoes him.
Certainly. So we see Sloman. Big hit to get up to the screen. Just trying. Well, not quite on the putting surface, but almost pin high.
Jack South looking to get up and down from relatively short range to make it a birdie start. He won't be delighted with that one, though.
No, he'd have been hoping for better. Langley on this par 5.
Started the season with 2 missed cuts in a row, but he's now made 7 on the bounce.
Little view of those really deep pot bunkers that are so normal on these types of golf courses. So you see Murray flipping the ball over the trap.
Back to William Harold. We saw his drive at the first. 33 years of age now. Played a lot of golf all around the world, really. He's had a lot of high finishes at various events on different tours in Asia over the last few years. And here's a man who's had some high finishes on this circuit this season.
Yeah, beautifully read by Hilliard there. Never looked anywhere else. Super shot. Langley. Interesting. Ground looks a bit rough, but he favouring the putter. Looks like a very good choice. Oh, that's a great shot. That really is.
Yeah, if you can play shots like that well, it's a great asset to have on a course like this.
Absolutely. You know I repeat it, but you know, I sometimes think the modern game forgets that the ball's round and it will roll, and you know, sometimes a shot like that is infinitely easier to pull off than some fancy chip off a awkward lie.
And from very close range, he taps in for his second birdie of the day. Harold, I think, would be very happy with a two-putt of his own here. It would be for par.
Great putt that. Par. Very nice.
And that's absolutely fine. Nice solid start, but you get a sense that today when pars aren't really going to get the job done.
No, I think you're right, Michael. Under these pretty benign conditions and overcast, so nothing really too difficult, I think we're going to see some low scoring.
Tom Sloman, as I was saying, produced some low scoring yesterday with a 63.
Murray now, this one from about 15 feet to try and save his par.
Well, it's a bogey, that's all right, but again, today when you're not going to be able to afford too many of those, it really is going to be a chase for birdies today. And I'm sure we'll see a few eagles along the way. Just ideal conditions, really, on a very scoreable course. That one just drops in at the last.
Jack South, following his birdie on the first. Can he repeat same? He certainly can. Never looked anywhere else. Nice start.
Yeah, South now just one off the lead.
Yeah, Murray, this little one.
So Busher's opening birdie puts him alongside Harold and also Jack Davidson, the 24-year-old Welsh prospect who birdied all of the first four on his way to going out in 28. Jamie Rutherford also having the day to remember, covering the front nine in 29. Davidson soaring up the field and getting right into the mix alongside Harold and Busher. The final round story continues in a moment. It's the final round of the Motocaddy Masters at Leven Links in Scotland, where a Welshman has joined two Englishmen at the head of proceedings. Jack Davidson from Newport alongside William Harold and Robbie Busher, followed by a real pile-on at 11 under, so 8 players now covered by just a single stroke. Let's get the thoughts of Brandon Robinson-Thompson on the 5th hole.
Number 5 is a par 3, plays a little downhill. My favourite part about the hole is probably the backdrop. I mean, the tee sits right on the end of the beach and you can see all the way down the bay. And on a nice sunny day like yesterday, it was absolutely beautiful. But yeah, it's a tricky little par 3, fairly big green, but there's a couple of bunkers up the right. Well, there's actually bunkers all over, but the two on the right are probably the most tricky because the green kind of runs away from you. Middle of the green there is never a bad thing. I'm just looking through my book here just to make sure I'm saying the right stuff. The long right seems to be okay, but yeah, kind of just stay out of those bunkers, really.
And isn't that the key to so many of these links courses, Gary? Stay out of those bunkers.
Yeah, it is. The deep little pop bunkers that you get on here, if you get up against the back sort of edge of them, you can end up with no stance, no swing, no shot other than to play out backwards, which isn't going to worry Jack South, who's just popped that one about 6 feet away. Wonderful tee shot.
Robbie Busher's best ever EuroPro finish came in Scotland back in 2015 when he lost a playoff to Sam Connor at the Carrick. Now back to Langley, who was a runner-up himself at Clandyboy recently behind Simon Thornton.
A cracking shot. Beautifully controlled for distance. Now Robbie Busher. Really very little break on this one, just firm in the centre. Keep your head still. Boom. Just like that.
Breaks out of that little pack that had formed at 12 under. Jack South looking to get to that number if he can birdie the shortest hole on the course, which he has. He's off to an absolute flyer today. 3 birdies in the first 5.
Tall figure of William Harold.
Won a couple of events on the EuroPro back in 2014 at the Belfry and at Longhurst Hall, where he beat no less a figure than Bradley Dredge in a playoff.
Following his excellent approach. Langley makes no mistake at all with his birdie putt.
I think all the early signs, Gary, are that all these guys are going to have a lot of chances today, and it's about who manages to convert the most of them. We're seeing a lot of putts from just this sort of range, really.
Yeah, and the greens are very, very good, so it's all about just getting the line right, because the pace is kind for them, not too fast. So I think you're right, Michael. We're going to see a lot of them hold and some great scoring. Busher. This for his par, though. No, just a pull. Costs him a shot and takes him back to only 1 under for today, 12 under overall.
Now let's get the thoughts of Jack Davidson, the young Welshman who's going so well today. Ash Weller is out in the course with him.
Are you a leaderboard watcher?
Not really, you know, there's a few out on the course, but I just keep doing what I'm doing and see how we end up after 18 holes.
Yeah, you got a number in mind or just keep
No,
going?
not really, just keep playing and try and hold some putts.
Looks like you've been doing that already.
Yeah, we'll try and keep holding some more.
Okay.
Cheers, Ash.
Play well, played. See you
Thanks,
later.
mate.
And that's exactly what he is doing, because he's added further birdies at 10 and 11 to go to 8 under for the day and now 14 under for the tournament with a 2-shot lead over the English trio of Busher, South and the overnight leader Harold. Now here's our first look today, Gary, at another Englishman, the player of the season so far, Mitch Waite, 62 yesterday, and he's parred all of the first 3 today.
Yes, his rich vein of form is continuing and made a solid start today. Yeah, not too bad a lie. It's fairly clean, no grass right behind the ball.
Let's have another look at Jack South, now playing the longest hole on the course. Only 2 par 5s here.
I think that's one of the things with these older style links courses. They're not enormously long, but there's still a tremendous challenge with the undulations on the greens. That's a good shot from South, though.
It's all bonus time now, isn't it, Gary, for Mitch Waite, because he knows he's heading for the Challenge Tour. He's playing some great golf, and everything he does from here just adds to what's going to be a wonderful year, whatever happens now.
Absolutely, the pressure off, and you know, it's really how much money can I accumulate to send me into next season.
Yeah, get some money behind him to cover the costs of playing out in the Challenge Tour, and he can take a little bit of the pressure off himself right from the start of next season. Will Josh Hilliard be joining him on that circuit next season? Well, that's okay. Up and down from there, he can still get his birdie.
weight. Just a little bit of movement on this one from the left. Oh, that was beautifully judged. Just kept it inside the hole, as you could see, and a wonderful pace.
Forward to the 12th. Ash is out there.
Davidson's had a fantastic drive. He's only got 120 yards to this flag that's tucked on the left-hand side of the green, but he's on the right-hand side of the fairway, so he's opened up a really interesting shot. Could be able to get birdie, maybe even better.
Yeah, we just saw Waite birdie the 4th. That played the hardest hole on the course over the first 2 rounds. Davidson here on the 12th, which has played the easiest.
Yeah, nicely aboard the green. Going to be a chance of an eagle in a second. Hilliard.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a great little shot. You could hear lovely contact when he hit that, and a great result.
Jack Davidson having such a great day, he could make it even better here. If this goes in, what sort of score is he thinking of then? Well, there were only 5 eagles on the 6th over the first 2 days, none so far today. Can Jack South be the first? Oh, agonisingly close, but he'll still be happy enough for that. If only all your birdie putts could be this short. This is pretty short. Surely Davidson going 9 under for the day here, Gary.
I'm pretty sure of that, Michael. Yeah, don't think this is going anywhere other than the bottom of the cup. And this is a wonderful round progressing. Wonder where he's going to end up.
Former Walker Cup player back in 2017. They were heavily beaten in Los Angeles, but up against a really strong American team, which included the current Open champion, Colin Morikawa.
Yes, that was a very strong American team. Hilliard. Another simple little tap in to improve his score.
Kieran Cantley finishing off his front 9. First time we've seen him today. He's played the easiest of the short holes over the first couple of rounds.
Jack South. Can he keep this great start going? Yeah, another very good tee shot, pin high, about 18 feet.
And he'll have that for his 3rd birdie in a row. Back to Cantley now, spearheading the home challenge here in Scotland. He's still got quite a bit of ground to make up, but a few more of those, and you never know. Jack South looking for his 3rd birdie on the bounce.
Yeah, again, just runs off a little slope above the hole here. Has he read it correctly? Oh, he certainly has. My goodness, that putter's on fire.
What an easy game this is, really. All this fuss we make about it. So Jack Davidson then, with his 9th birdie of the day at number 12, leads on his own by 1 from Jack South, who's flying also. 5 under for his round, with just 7 played. Now, Chris Galloway, the operations manager here at Leven Links, has been talking to Gabby.
I'm delighted to be joined by the operations manager here at Leven Links, Chris Galloway. Chris, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, great. And ahead of tournament week, what goes on, what goes down to prepare?
Yeah, so it's been a very busy week. We've been excited to have this tournament now for a long time, and the work that we've put in from the greens team to the volunteers to the members has been huge. But I think it's paying off. I think we're ready for the tournament. And I'm sure it'll be a great success.
And what does it mean to the members and staff members as well to have the PGA EuroPro Tour played here?
Yeah, well, Leven Links has been lucky to host the Open qualifying 6 times, So we have had big tournaments here before, but this is the first big one we've had for a number of years now. So when this did come about, I have to say the members of both clubs were very positive about us getting this. So it's been very, very welcoming.
Okay, well you started, I believe, in December, wasn't it? So
It
fairly
was, yes,
new.
yeah.
Tell me a bit about what you did before.
So I worked in retail banking for 30 years.
Interesting, quite a transition there.
It is quite a transition, but to have the opportunity to do a job in a sport that you've loved for the whole of your life was just too good an opportunity to turn down. So it's been an eye-opener, it's been very different. I've had a lot of learning to do, but I have to say the support that I've had from everybody that's involved with golf has been absolutely fantastic, and it's definitely been the right career move for me.
Oh, brilliant. So you can say you prefer this role then, yeah?
Just a little, yeah.
Okay, thank you for your time, Chris, and let's go and watch some golf, shall we?
Thank you very much.
One thing we can bank on is a lot more good scoring on this benign final day at Leven Links, coming right up. Welcome back to the final round of the Motocaddy Masters at Leven Links on the PGA EuroPro Tour, where the scoring is marvellous, particularly so for Jack Davidson. The Welshman is 9 under for the day, and with 6 to play, he's officially on 59 watch now. He leads the tournament by 1 from Jack South, by 2 from William Harold, and by 3 from a group which includes Mitch Waite.
Mitch, you clearly love being on camera because each time you do well each week, you're back here again. How's it feel?
Yeah, another week, another final group. Yeah, no, it's good, isn't it? When you're playing, and this is where you want to be. So, no, delighted to be in the final group again and have another chance to obviously win. Yeah,
well, obviously at the start of the season, you were fairly kind of consistent, but you weren't as near as how well you're doing now. What changed from that point then? Do you think momentum's behind you now as well?
Yeah, I think a few things. I've been putting a few things into place at the beginning of the season. It didn't quite go my way, and then just stuck at it. Persistence was key, patience was key, and then obviously got my first win at Manning's, and then ever since then I've just felt really, really comfortable in this scenario and just been playing some really good stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously in the last 4 tournaments as well, finished within the top 5, 2 wins, tied 2nd and 3rd as well. Yeah, how does it feel to be that consistent, really?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been like that in my career, really. So I suppose in the amateur game I had a few good results in a good run, but in the program not had that yet. So to finish like first, second, third, and then first again. No, it's been good, and obviously I'm just taking each week as it comes, each day as it comes, and ultimately now the way I see it when I go out there, there's no real pressure on me. I've won twice, I'm top of the order of merit. I can just go out there with free-flowing golf and just go and enjoy myself. Good to be back in Scotland, up there on the leaderboard as well? Yeah, absolutely, yeah, no, love Scotland. My brother was with me last time as well, actually, caddying, so, there's nothing about golf, but he was back from uni, so he came up and kept me company on the drive up to Montrose.
He didn't make the call up this time round, did he?
No, I thought I'd let him off the 6:30 alarms that we had up at Montrose, so, yeah, on my own this week, and obviously, yeah, like I say, final group, and, yeah, just looking forward to getting out there. Yeah, you've secured yourself a Challenge Tour spot. You've played in the Challenge Tour before. What did you learn from it from the first time, and also coming back down to be able to go back up again? You must have obviously learned a lot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back out there and testing my skills now. That was a couple of years ago, really. So when I first turned pro, my confidence wasn't quite as high. I didn't quite know what to expect when I went onto the Challenge Tour. With the way that I'm playing now, I believe that if I played like that on this tour, on the Challenge Tour this year, there'd be no reason why I couldn't be in the top 20 and get a European Tour card. So obviously, all being well, getting the Challenge Tour card for next year, that's going to be the one aim, I'd imagine.
But his challenge now is finding his way out of a tricky spot that he's found himself in on the 6th, and that'll do. Looks to have a great attitude, Gary. Seems very level-headed, and I think he'll do well on the Challenge Tour next year.
I think you're absolutely right, yeah. He's had learned from previous experiences and build on this season. Jack Davidson now. It's another shot, absolutely bang on line.
I mentioned he was in the Walker Cup team back in 2017. He was the Welsh Amateur Champion that year.
Interesting how many players on the EuroPro have had good amateur careers before they come to this tour.
Jack South looking to improve on his best ever finish on this tour. He was 4th at Longhurst Hall 3 years ago now. 4 out of the playoff there, which was won by Sam Connor.
Weight from the fringe. Again, so smooth using the putter. Up a little false front, then it swings down slightly towards the hole.
Try.
Not bad, as I say, coming down it was just a bit quicker than he perhaps thought.
Yeah, Waite doesn't have good history on that hole. He had a double bogey there in the first round. It's going to be much better today as we return to Hilliard.
Davidson, can he insert another one and go to 16 under?
It would be his 10th birdie of the day. Never really threatened though, did it?
No, big swing, which he read right but didn't hit it hard enough. Wait. This 3-footer. Yeah, nicely done. Good birdie.
Yeah, he has shown form on the Challenge Tour before. Last year, in fact, he had a 7th place finish in a Challenge Tour event in South Africa.
That was a very good shot from Hilliard there, from under that bank.
So 5 holes left to play for Davidson. He needs to cover them in 2 under for that 59.
South. This for another birdie. Running well, running beautifully. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. It's wonderful. Again, Jack South, you know, college in America, had some experience and then stalled a little bit in his progress.
Yeah, you can talk about the course being relatively short, you can talk about the conditions, but never mind those things, you've still got to hold the putts, and he's holding some very good ones today, so it's a real quality performance, and that's a bit of a horror show for Hilliard after a decent shot to get himself there. So with his 6th birdie of the day, Jack South pulls up alongside Jack Davidson. Bit of a gap now forming between them and the rest, but the likes of Harold and Waite in particular have plenty of time to make up that ground. Jack Davidson chasing a £59,000 bonus if he can get that 59. Here's his tee shot on 14. Let's go out to Ash. He'll tell us what he's got next.
Just 120 yards left to this front left pin on the 14th. He's got a really, really good chance of making a 3 here. 59 watch is definitely on. Can he do it?
Indeed so. It's exciting.
Well, that'll do. And, you know, we often talk about it, Gary, at the start of a day when we see a course like this and the conditions. Oh, someone could go really low today. But it's actually pretty rare that you see players have this good a chance to make a bit of history.
It is, you know, it's remarkable. He's got several holes and there are birdie chances, so it could definitely be on.
And Jack South has had 4 birdies in a row now. We might be talking about him in 59 terms in a few moments from now.
I think they could both do it. With shots like that, I think South's certainly going to give it a go.
Well, we've never had a sub-60 round on the EuroPro Tour. It would be absolutely incredible if we got 2 in the same day. Back to Langley. Started the week by winning the Pro-Am.
That's a fantastic shot. Deep bunker, just dropped the club on the ball, popped it out over. Wonderful. Davidson. Doesn't look to be a lot of swing on this. Oh, read perfectly. I guess as you get to this stage, whatever you say, people say don't watch leaderboards, but you know what your score is. And maybe just tightened up a fraction there. The putter doesn't swing quite as freely. Leaves you frustrated with the ball right on the lip of the hole.
Yeah, it's a different sort of pressure, isn't it? Because if you're in contention to win a tournament, you know you might have that chance again the next week. But when you're playing for a 59, that's the sort of thing that only comes along maybe once or twice in a lifetime that you have that opportunity. Jack South is moving into that bracket now. This is his 5th birdie in a row. He's out in 27. And William Harold is something of a forgotten man in all of this. He led at the start of the day, and before teeing off, he spoke to Gabby.
Will, nice to see you. Top of the leaderboard into the final day. Not a bad place to be, really, is it?
No, it's always good, you know. It's yeah, it's only one shot, but it's yeah, it's good. I mean, I've been up there a couple of times now, so it's been an interesting year because I felt like I've been in contention quite a lot, which for me, I don't really feel that happens that often. So yeah, it's been good.
You came closest at Studley Wood, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was good. I think I had the lead for a bit going through sort of halfway point, but it was there's lots of birdies to be had on the back, which I didn't make, and you know I got lapped, and I think I ended up finishing 6th, or something. But I was quite a way out of it going in, so I wasn't too disappointed really.
You've been on and off the tour for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah.
What places have you been to?
Well, I played EuroPro when I first started, and then I moved to Challenge Tour quite quickly, and then I got stuck on that for a bit, and then when I didn't have any status on that, I went over to Asia and I played 2 years in Asia on the Asian Tour, but again sort of struggled to keep a card, went back to Q School, got another card and things like that, and then found PGA Tour China and then played really well there, and that got me to finals of American Q School at the time, so I went and played Corn Ferry 2019, and then yeah, here I am.
One of the last tournaments going into the final day, obviously top of the leaderboard. How much pressure do you feel going into today?
Not so much today. I don't know why. Just maybe because I've been there a couple of times. I'll still be nervous and everything, and just like you are every day. I think I was saying if I had a 10-shot lead or a 1-shot lead, I think I'd still be feeling the same thing. So yeah, just normal really. I think just obviously excited, and hopefully I can play really well. So. Yeah.
Yeah, he talked about his experience at Studley Wood. It's been a similar sort of day so far. He's actually 1 under for his round, but just been overtaken by all the quality golf going on around him.
Jack South on the 10th, as we can see.
5 birdies in a row now, 7 in total in the 9 holes he's played. Can he stretch the run to 6 in a row? Well, it's not his greatest approach shot.
Where we left William Harold. Long putt back down the green. Ball just jumping a little bit as it came onto the putting surface. Pretty well judged.
Now Hilliard is one of those quirky little shots that you get on links courses, Gary, and being a left-hander, bit of an advantage for this shot.
Certainly is. He's standing level with the ball. If he was the other side, he'd be well above the ball and having to bend over a lot. That's a good shot though. Chance of his birdie in a moment.
Yeah, couldn't really have hoped for much better from there. Now Jack South, what a day he's having. Can he somehow make it 6 in a row? He gave it every chance. That should be a straightforward par. Harold with a bit more work to do for his par though at 7.
Oh, it just didn't have the pace to hold it on line. So that'll take him back to level par for the day, and like a cavalry charge going past him.
Yeah, it was only from short range, but in a sense you could see sort of lack of confidence in the way he hit that one. Now this would be a really good up and down for Hilliard if he can do the business. And he can. Well done, Josh Hilliard. He's hanging in there.
Jack South not really used to having to hole out little ones for a par. In it goes.
Par is a rare thing for Jack South today, but it is enough to keep his nose in front. Davidson trailing by 1, Waite by 3, Harold back to level par for the day, and the overnight leader really needs to massively pick up the pace here. South is pointing in the right direction and aiming his compass at victory in the Motocaddy Masters. More to follow in just a moment. It's an absorbing final round at Leven Links in the Motocaddy Masters, where two players are now very much on 59 watch. Jack Davidson needs to find 2 more birdies. He's got 4 holes to do it. For Jack South, the challenge is to pick up another 4 shots, but with 8 to play, he has a bit more room to work with. Looks to be a battle between those two for the title at the moment, but that could certainly change because Mitch Waite, who's already won twice this season, is still very much within range as he comes to the end of his front 9, Gary.
Yeah, his tee shot on this 170-yard par 3. Oh, right at it. That's a great shot. Gives himself a good chance of a birdie.
This is Curtis Knipes, 66 and 65 for him in the first 2 rounds. He was out in 33. He's just had his second birdie of the day on 10 as he comes to the 11th hole. Missed the playoff by 1 at Clevedon and then was 5th at Parkwood the following week. He's had a couple more top 20s since then, so pretty consistent. Nothing like the consistency of this man though.
No break on this putt, just a nice firm hit right in the middle of the hole. That's wonderful for Mitch Waite, moving him to 14 under par.
Yeah, out in 31. He's really lurking behind those 2 players who are setting such an electrifying pace today. And he will have that for birdie.
Davidson. Long attempt for a birdie. Needs a couple more, as Michael said.
Just a reminder, that £59,000 bonus for someone who can break 60 on the EuroPro Tour. I mean, you'd have to win 4 regular events at this level to win that. So that really is a massive deal, as that one just wriggles in for Curtis Knipes. And he goes to 12 under.
Davidson. Yeah, the 59 must be in his mind, but good finish. There's a lot of money to be won.
Yeah, it's all very well talking about how many birdies they need to get, but always in these situations when players are aiming for a bit of history like this, they tend to have a moment like that where they need to hold their nerve for a par putt. Oh, look at this. This is wonderful. Jack South will have that to go 8 under for the day. Thirsty work.
With 2 birdies needed in the last 3 holes to hit the magic number, Davidson set himself up superbly here on 16. He's got just 58 yards to this flag, lots of green to work with 17 and 18 being difficult par 4s. You've got to feel that if he is going to make this 59, this one has to get up and down for a 3.
A lot of approach shots from this sort of range, Gary, so today's a real examination of wedge play.
It has been, and most of them have answered the exam paper very well. What's Davidson going to do with this? Oh, it's a lovely shot. It really is. Well, certainly a chance. Got it inside 5 feet.
I've not seen much of Tom Sloman over the last little while. Former Walker Cup player at Hoylake. Played all 4 sessions back in 2019 and won 2 points. Saw him earlier in the round, and as I said, he's faded out of the picture a bit. That little tap in though will get him to 12 under, and at the very least in the reckoning for another very good finish.
So a vital putt. Can he do it?
Yes, he can. Jack Davidson, 10 under for the round. 1 more birdie in the last 2 holes, and he will have that 59.
I can't believe the excitement. I'm loving it. Langley's eagle putt now. Good swing of the putter. Not an eagle, but a simple birdie.
So we saw Davidson there, continuing his hot pursuit of a sub-60 round. South is on the same track, and surely he's going to get another one here.
Yeah, a little more than a tap in.
And with that, South immediately retakes sole possession of the lead. Davidson's birdie at 16 leaves him needing one more in the last 2 holes for the EuroPro Tour's first ever 59. Primarily, though, it is about the title, and Waite is still in the hunt for his 3rd of this season.
Good view of Jack South here, looking straight down onto the green. Little waggle, little rehearsal. It's that lovely balance. What you'll see amongst all players when they're playing well is that they have great balance and they hold the finish of their swing so well. Something that our handicap viewers would do well to emulate. Just try and hold your finish at the end of the swing. It'll improve your golf.
It's amazing though how hard it is to do that. It sounds so simple, but it really is so difficult to get that right. Now Sloman, this would be for 4 birdies in a row to start the back 9. We've seen some good form from him this season, and another glimpse of it here today.
Josh Hilliard still going along very nicely. Zips the club in, tight under the ball, trying to get some spin on it, which he certainly does. Got it dancing round the hole.
Now, we mentioned Kieran Cantley and saw a bit of him earlier. He's in the running to be top Scot here at Leven Links, but problems for him on 13, Gary.
Yes, it doesn't look a good spot. Oh, looks as though maybe a spectator's. He's found a ball, going in to identify it. It's pretty horrible under that bush. Be lucky to get a swing at it, but it looks like it's his ball.
David Langley was a winner on the MENA Tour last year. Sloman, actually, who's playing so well today, was among those in the group sharing 2nd place. He's played on the Alps Tour as well, so well-travelled, Langley. Back to Cantley.
It looks as though if you can get a backswing for these players, you can nearly always do something with it. It's when you're denied a backswing that you really are in the doo-doo.
So Langley tidies up. Now, here's Nipes on the longest of the par 4s here at Leven Links. Well, he'll have a chance from there. Now, we saw Jack South earlier make 5 birdies in a row. Tom Sloman can match that feat here. This is well within range. The run ends in frustrating circumstances.
So Cantley having extricated himself from behind the bush as he found the bunker. I think he was on grass. No sand was flying. That's a very good escape, may make a par.
So many really good rounds in progress here. This is another one. James Newton, he's 8 under for the day and looking to get up and down from this position at the last for a 61. And the remarkable thing is, even if he does it, it might not be the lowest score of the day.
Curtis Nipes is for his birdie. Up the hill, just needs to be firm enough to hold the line. Oh, so close. I'm sure he thought he'd got that one.
So a lot of these guys probably feel they're playing all right today, and then they'll have a look at the leaderboards, maybe when they come off, and realise they've lost a bit of ground to some of the others.
Langley's birdie attempt running well. Was always a bit low. I don't think the knees bend was ever going to bring that one back online.
It's funny how all the putts that were dropping earlier on in the day, there's something about it towards the finish. You just see fewer of them drop. Tom Sloman, who's shown his credentials at Challenge Tour level. He had a top 10 finish on there a few years ago in an event won by Tom Lewis. Very much a quality player. He's shown that quite a bit over the last weeks and months. What a par this would be, Gary.
Certainly would, and he's got a good chance. It's a very curly putt, as you could see, but beautifully done.
Now, we've been asking some of the players to give us their unique take on some of these holes. Here's Sam Connor.
Yeah, I'm picking 14. It's probably got the most interesting green for me on the golf course because it's on a natural dune ridge. And potentially the hole could play easier into wind because it makes the second shot much easier to stop the golf ball on the green. Like, for instance, in round 1 it was downwind, and if you didn't hit the fairway to a nice yardage, you couldn't spin the ball, and it was very difficult to stop. There's a bunker 300 yards off the tee, something to consider. Downwind's very reachable for most people, so a lot of people will lay further back to have more of a full shot. But it's just a very interesting hole with a fantastic green.
And here we've got Curtis Knipes on that hole. Interestingly, choosing an iron from the tee. Obviously a bit worried about that bunker that Sam Connor was telling us about. And to leave the ball a little further from the green so he can get a bit bigger club at it and get a bit more spin on the ball to stop it on this ridge.
Jack South looking for 3 more birdies to get that 59, so you've got to take advantage of the par 5s, Gary, and he's put himself in good position here.
Yeah, it certainly has, although not on the green, able to use his putter from not too far away, and that's pretty well judged. Although I must say at this stage the nerve ends will be jangling over a putt of even that length.
Oh, listen, we're getting nervous here just watching. Curtis Knight's another player who's been out on the MENA Tour. He's had a second there and a third, so well travelled in the game.
As you can see, not much left for Josh Hilliard to secure an eagle, and in it goes.
Just the 3rd eagle so far today on that hole, and not beyond the realms. He could still win this, you know, in spite of everything that's going on. Knipes perhaps a bit too far back, but a little closer now. Now back to the drama unfolding with Jack South.
Just this short one, but they get further and further away as the end approaches. Kept his head still, trickled it in.
Well, we saw James Newton on 18. He didn't manage to get his birdie, but he did finish with a par, and that's a fine 62. Look at that start. 3 birdies in a row on the way to a front 9 of 30. Another very good week for James Newton. Robbie Busher would have had high hopes at the start of the day, but just not been able to keep up. So Jack South, as we just saw, 9 under par for the day. He needs to find 2 more strokes in the last 6 for 59. This is his tee shot on 13. And before it all started, he gave us his views on that hole.
Talk you through the 13th hole. It's 477 yards. It's probably the strongest par 4 on the course. Plays totally different if you're into wind or downwind. So today was downwind for us, so I had driver wedge, and it was a fairly simple pin position. If it's back into the wind, I mean, there's a bunker at 297 because it's quite firm out there. You could quite easily go into that bunker, but then you could be left with as much as a 4 or 5 iron to a back pin. So it's an interesting hole that, depending on the wind, could play so differently. It can be wedged to 4 iron, and if you're hitting a 4 iron into that green, par's a very good score.
Well, this is where he's driven to, and we mentioned that £59,000 bonus from the EuroPro Tour for a round of 59. If South can do it, he'll also get £60,000 from his own sponsors, Cobra Puma Golf. So much at stake from here, and that'll help. Decent shot.
Mitch Waite still in there, challenging, and another lovely contact. Lovely feeling for Waite though, knowing that you're already secure for next season.
Jack South has held some very good putts today. Another one here, and he would only need one more birdie to break 60. Oh, I think it caught a bit of the hole, Gary.
I think it did. He obviously fancied it, gave it a run. Now can Waite insert this one for his eagle?
If he can, then he's still in with a real chance to win this. Oh, so close.
Don't think gravity's going to take effect and help him.
First, second, third, first in his last 4 starts. What an amazing run that is.
Well, this is where South needs a clear, calm head. He's got it. I think today he's helped. He's got Paul Maddy, experienced player, helping and caddying today.
Robbie Busher, as we said, hasn't been able to keep up. This would make up a bit of ground, though. Well, guaranteed birdie, but I think he was hoping for a bit more there. A little bit of frustration in his body language. So South now distancing himself just a bit from the field, 2 shots clear of Davidson, but Waite and Hilliard can still win it with a big finish. Speaking of which, what a closing round for James Newton of Mottram Hall. 3rd at Studley Wood last week. He signed off today, as we saw, with a 62. Now this area is of course steeped in the history of the game, and Robbie Busher took some time out to make the short journey to St Andrews.
So I bet you didn't think you'd be coming here today after playing on the golf course all day?
I mean, yeah, it's the home of golf, isn't it? Excited to go and have a look around.
How exciting is it to be here at the home of golf? And obviously, assume it's every golfer's dream to be able to play there.
Yeah. I mean, if I missed the cut this week, I was gonna try and play tomorrow.
Don't say that, come on.
Just the history and everything that's gone on it. It's such a famous venue, and every hole is so memorable.
What's your memories of St Andrews?
Yeah, Tiger winning, I think. When he won by, I think I was just kind of getting into golf when he won, and I just remember watching him just down the stretch, and just he was incredible, and that kind of got me hooked. Watching Tiger was always the motivator, I think. He just made golf so interesting and great to watch that I was just hooked on what he was doing and wanted to, do it. I'm not the only sportsman, my cousin's a jockey.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and my granddad was a jockey as well. So
okay, following each other's footsteps.
Yeah, I mean I'm the right height for a jockey.
I wasn't going to say anything, right? I'm the wrong height for a jockey, so. I saw you injured your knee at some point, didn't you? What happened there?
Yeah, I dislocated my left knee trying to hit a driver too hard. I've had wrist, back injuries. I mean, nothing that's kept me out for like a whole season. Hopefully I can stay fit for the rest of the year.
I want you to stand just over here.
Okay.
There we go. Now I'm going to rate who's the best dressed.
Definitely Hugo Boss.
How do you fancy seeing yourself in one of that, in some dungarees?
I mean, I think that's a lady's outfit.
Oh, sorry.
I could wear that.
So we're going to have a quick go at this. I'm with the pro, so there's absolutely no pressure on me. He's given me the long nose putter. How bloody rude. Ooh. Okay. Do you need any tips, by the way? I'll just talk to you about it after, right? Your 3 Tour Championships there.
Yeah.
How much would it mean to obviously participate in that? What, you're 49th in the Order of Merit?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have it secured because Tour Champs, obviously, if you win that, you're going to get your Challenge Tour card because the prize fund is a lot bigger. But I'm aware, obviously, of where I am in the Order of Merit, but I'm just trying to play and do as best I can and try and win.
Well, there we are, Robbie. We've come to the end of our little museum school trip.
Yeah.
Have you found it?
I've enjoyed it. It's great to see how it was and how it is now.
Well, what have you learned? Because I've given you a few little tips.
I mean, I've learned that you're a better putter than I am. So.
I knew that before you got here, right?
Jack South or Jack Davidson could see their scorecard in that museum someday if one or even both of them can get this historic 59. The drama continues next. It's the final round of the Motocaddy Masters at Leven Links, where the race is on not just for the title, but also for the first 59 in PGA EuroPro Tour history. We could even see 2 of them, because Jack Davidson needs just 1 more birdie, and Jack South 2 in the last 5. In terms of the title, South looking very strong, 2 ahead of Davidson, and with holes in hand. Even with everything that's going on, Gary, we have to remember, for these guys, still important business behind. Every place counts so much in the order of merit.
Oh yes, at this business end of the season, everything counts for everybody. Oh, this is rather nice. Using the cush to very good effect. Langley, just off a slightly hanging lie.
Still hasn't dropped a shot all day. Now, Jack Davidson. This would get him to 11 under, and then he would only need par at the last. Oh, he knew straight away, didn't he? But the dream lives. He can still get that 59 if he can make birdie on the 18th. However, he hasn't done that in either previous round. It's been pars in both rounds 1 and 2.
Back for a look at the left-handed Josh Hilliard. Again, taking the iron to get the ball nicely in play. Leave himself a good yardage to attack the pin.
Been a good year for the left-handers. Clearly the best one there's ever been. Phil Mickelson becoming the oldest ever major champion at the age of 50.
Just a misread from David Langley there. Curtis Snipes. Another short putt. So many we've seen today.
And that's back-to-back birdies for him for the second time already on the back 9. He's 4 under since the turn, 5 under for the day, the man from Chelmsford Golf Club.
Langley just tidying up.
Well, Jack Davidson has a date with destiny on the 18th. Reece Thompson has been telling us about it.
18 is the best picture hole of the course. I like to hit it down the first, hit it left, because then it takes the danger away down the right hand side. There is a bunker about 270, so kind of aiming at that and then hit as hard as you can down it and hopefully miss it and leave a good shot into the green.
Okay, any other challenges on the hole?
The ditch down the front, as long as you miss that, over that it'll run to the hole. So that's the best place to be, is long of the ditch and back of the greens, normally a good position, so yeah.
Well, this is where Davidson has driven it to, and this is the biggest shot of his life so far, Gary.
Absolutely it is, and he's done a good job.
Given himself a chance, that's all he would have asked for. Now, here's the other man in pursuit of history, and he's got more time in which to do it.
Also favouring the iron. Just a little bit of cut on it, but lies okay.
Curtis Snipes playing very nicely now, and looking to set up a chance for a hat-trick of birdies.
Giving himself every chance.
This is it then, Gary. Could this be the moment? This for the first ever sub-60 round on the EuroPro Tour.
I think he could if he can just swing this putter freely. There's not much break on this. Just looked a bit tentative. Yeah. Well, the moment got to him that you'll be disappointed not to have given it any sort of shot there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Gary, but I think we can forgive him that because it's just so much pressure. So now just one player in pursuit of that piece of history.
Hilliard's been very impressive today, I must admit. A lot of good shots. Now Snipes. Can he collect his trio of birdies? Not this time.
So Davidson just finishes off here. He'll be glad it's this short, actually. After the previous putt, he wouldn't have wanted anything a bit more testing than this. And it's still a day to remember, you know, for the Welshman. A day which began with 4 straight birdies. Out in 28, started for home with 3 in a row. Just one more in the last 6, though, when he needed 2 for the 59. But still, it's a glorious round of 60. And it may not even be the lowest round of the day, because this man still has the 59, or maybe even better, in his sights. Needs to find 2 more in the last 5 holes. And he's got a really good chance of another one. Now, what has Jack Davidson made of it all?
Firstly, how are you feeling?
Obviously disappointed that I wasn't able to hold a putt, but more disappointed I left it short. But yeah, like I said, I can't forget it's around a 60, 10 under par. You know, I won't forget that and take the positives from it. Just a touch short with a 59.
You've had a great round of golf today, though. You must be so pleased with that, surely.
Yeah, I got off to a great start, 4 under through 4, and then just managed to keep holding a few putts. And then next thing you know, I just got to make a few more birdies for a 59. 1 short, but hopefully I'll have another chance in the future.
At what point of your round were you conscious of that 59?
When I got to 9 under, I was aware. Then I had a few holes, you know, coming in to make a couple of birdies, and then birdie in 16. I just knew I had to make one more going down the 17 or 18, but just that 1 short.
Yeah, tough pin there on 18, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't believe they've done that to us. It's a pretty big green, and they basically put the pin in the burn, so you know, I couldn't be too aggressive with the second shot.
Oh, well done anyway.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Isn't it amazing you can play and score as well as that and still come off seeming a bit deflated and emotional? Now, Curtis Knipes, we saw him last on 16. He's parred the 17th, so still no bogeys on his card. He'll be happy enough with that approach to the last. He will have that for a 64.
But all our eyes now turn to Jack South. This up the hill, running nicely. Oh, Michael, he's got another one.
Yeah, and now he just needs 1 more. And it's a completely different situation to needing 1 in, say, the last 2 holes. He's got 4 holes left to find just 1 more birdie.
Not surprised when Davidson mentioned this pin. It is a very cheekily tucked just on the edge of the green here.
Langley also among those playing for the minor placings. That could be worth a few pounds. Gets him to 14 under.
Perhaps this little one to sign off with another par.
Yeah, got to go in a bit on the back 9, but in terms of winning, in truth, it was too late by then. Bogey free, though, and 65 may well give Knipes his 3rd top 5 of the season.
Hilliard. Again from close range. Can he make a birdie? Certainly can. These greens have been beautiful. The ball's running so smoothly.
Not to be then for Jack Davidson in terms of the 59. It's going to be his best EuroPro placing so far, but barring a late collapse from South, not a win. Hilliard and Waite still have holes to play, though, to at least partly shape their own destinies.
Robbie Busher. I'm sure he really enjoyed his museum visit, because it certainly is a lovely museum to visit.
Hilliard now still pushing towards the finish. I think he'll definitely have 2nd place in his thoughts. He's already had a runner-up finish this season, actually, at Luton Hoo, 2 behind Dermot McIlroy. And that looks like a cast iron birdie.
Yeah, certainly some shot that was. Would look good from his end.
Now Mitch Waite is 4 under for the day. He's talking to Ash.
Mitch, we're going to have to stop meeting like this.
Yeah, no, well, it's nice, isn't it? It means I'm obviously doing something right, just not quite enough right for today's scoring by the look of it.
Well, I mean, I've lost count of the number of times you've been in the final group, but the scoring is crazy today, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. To be fair, I didn't check a leaderboard for the front nine. I just sort of played my own game like I have done for the last 5 weeks, really. And I spoke to Robbie off of the back of Leven, and he said, "Cool, we've got to get something going here." Yeah. So I had a little look, and obviously I saw obviously Jack Davison obviously shooting 10, and obviously Jack South being 9 through 12 or whatever it is. So yeah, great scoring out here. It just shows the calibre of player that the PGA EuroPro Tour are producing.
It's incredible the talent that is so deep in the tour now. But from here on in, just keep firing for birdies as much as you can and see what happens.
Anything can happen in golf. Make as many as you can coming in. From my point of view, I don't know if Jack's thinking about the 59. I don't know if he's thinking about winning the golf tournament or if he's just taking it a shot by a shot. So, yeah, I'll make as many birdies as I can coming in, finish as hard as I can. But regardless of what happens, the last 5 weeks of golf that I've played it's been, I mean, nothing short of exceptional, really. And even I would say that. So, no, very, very pleased. I think it's probably my last one of the year as well. So, a nice way to go out with a few to come in, and we'll just see where it leaves us.
I'm assuming, Gary, he means his last of the regular season. Surely he's not going to miss out in the Tour Championship.
No, I can't imagine you'd forego the chance of a £25,000 first prize there.
Robbie Busher, the year he had his win on the EuroPro Tour, was 4th in the Tour Championship. Do you find it, Gary, as a right-hander, more difficult to instruct a left-handed player as we see one here?
Funny enough, Michael, probably not, because you've always got the opportunity, if you want to demonstrate something of a mirror image, you know, you can use that. The key is, if you're teaching enough people, is just not to get muddled up with your right and lefts.
Robbie Busher gets it to 14 under. Never really got into the mix today, though. And here is our left-handed friend again. Probably harder for left-handers to take up the game in a way, Gary, because most people can just go and maybe use a set of clubs their parents had or whatever, but of course if they're not left-handed it's no use to them.
No, that's absolutely right, and certainly when I became an assistant back in 1973, and probably for almost the first 20 years that I was a pro, there was a lack of equipment, particularly if you were a left-handed lady. So there were an awful lot of left-handers who ended up playing golf right-handed because they just couldn't get any equipment. Much better now.
Back to the moment, and Jack South in his pursuit of history here. And he's got a chance for the one more birdie he needs. It's a wonderful chance. Pop that in and he'll only need to par the last 2. He's got to do it from here, Gary. He'll never forgive himself if he doesn't finish the job from this position.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is a great control. It's a beautiful, beautiful shot. He must make it, surely.
We'll get back to him in a moment. Mitch Waite here on the longest of the par 3s, and had also played the hardest over the first 2 rounds.
Hilliard just got snagged up as it came onto the green there. A nice par though.
Not an easy hole to birdie 15. Here's Mitch Waite's attempt to do it. Oh, that's a magnificent 2. Oh, what a show off. He loves the cameras. Now, back to Jack South. This is for his 11th birdie of the day.
Jangling nerves. Just nice follow through, and oh yes indeed. Woo. Can't believe it.
Well, job's not done yet. He's got to par the last 2, but he hasn't bogeyed either 17 or 18 in either of the first 2 rounds. So South's dream day now sees him leading the tournament by 3 shots. Hilliard has now overtaken Davidson and is second on his own, not entirely out of the running. The same could be said of Waite, but they both need something fairly spectacular to happen. £131,500 on the line for Jack South if he can shoot 59. He needs 2 pars to do it. The finish is next. Welcome back to a breathtaking final day of the Motocaddy Masters at Leven Links, where 2 players have been chasing the first 59 ever to be seen on the PGA EuroPro Tour. Jack Davidson couldn't quite do it. He needed to birdie either 17 or 18, but in the end parred them both. That, though, is exactly the finish Jack South is looking for, because that would be enough for him to make history.
But first, we've got Robbie Busher. There's still work to be done for these players. Good position, middle of the fairway. Yeah, fine approach. And really the man of the season, Mitch Wade. Seen plenty of that elegant swing. Another very neat shot.
So back to South, and we mentioned that £59,000 bonus for a 59. His own sponsors, Cobra Puma Golf, would add in £60,000 as well. And of course, if he does it, he'll get the winner's check of 12.5. So that's why it adds up to that total of £131,500. That shows you the sort of money you can make on the EuroPro Tour. Something to think about, of course, with Q School coming up for any player thinking of trying their hand at this level. He's got the ability and the ambition. And he'll be happy enough with that shot, Gary. That's just what he needs at this stage.
He certainly will. That was a very fine shot. Langley. Just a little bit wayward off the tee. But as we heard before, a lot of the players choosing to go down the first as a slightly easier approach.
He had a 64 in the first round, 2 putts from there, and he'll have the same score again.
Hilliard now coming in. And again, beautiful play. It's been a delightful day to watch golf today. I've so enjoyed it.
Not been the day Tom Sloman was hoping for, but he too has played some good stuff today and heading for another decent finish. And he'll have that to be back in 31, and that would add up to a 64.
Will this run smoothly onto the green and into the hole? Smoothly onto the green, but not disappearing this time.
Back to Jack South. I think he'd take his 2 putt from here, and all that money he's playing for could not be more timely. He only found out last week that his fiancée Samantha will be expecting a baby boy in January, so congratulations to them. But that had the look to me, Gary, of a putt of a man who knows how important this is.
Ooh, what must be going through his mind now to have left it there? His face says it all. We barely need words. Busher.
Both the outcome of the putt and his reaction to it sort of sum up what a frustrating day it's been for him.
Langley, after his good approach from the first fairway, back up the green. Good pace.
We'll just stay and see him tidy up. Couldn't build the sort of momentum on show from so many around him, but still a fine finish to a fine tournament for Langley, who ends it just as he started it with a 64.
Josh Hilliard. Can he move to 18 under? He certainly can. Oh, beautiful putt, tracking all the way.
Looking good for second now, and not entirely beyond the realms by any means that he could still win this.
Sloman, this to sign off with a birdie. Yeah, very neatly done.
4 birdies on the bounce from the 10th, but what went before that was a bit too subdued really on a day like this. 64 though for Sloman to follow yesterday's 63, and it's going to be top 10 for him for the 6th time this year. I've seen South knock in a few of these, Gary.
This is absolute vital. Oh, what relief.
Incredible saving putt for par there from Jack South, and a par, just a par 4 down the last here at Leven will give him an incredible 59. Can he do it? Let's see.
Shooting that score at any time is very special. Doing it in the final round to win is so rare. David Duval, of course, famously did it on the PGA Tour back in the 90s. Stuart Appleby has done it at the same level, and this is the challenge facing him as he pursues history, Gary.
Yes, very straightforward, but still 460 yards. Will he favour sticking down the 18th fairway or use the first fairway for a little bit more margin so that he can plonk the ball in the middle of the green and just secure 2 putts and that famous 59?
There's no point trying to guess what's going through his head at the moment, because it's something very few people will ever experience in a lifetime.
Jack South launching it away, hopefully finding the fairway. And if it all works out, with the new baby on the way, a little bit of good financial advice will help him.
Well, that's the thing. Players at this level don't expect to ever be dealing in that sort of money. It will be very timely for him, as we say. Young boy on the way, early in 2022. Meanwhile, Mitch Waite.
A bit bold with that one.
Here it is then. I'll tell you what, if he can do the job from here, the experience of delivering under this pressure will serve him so well for the rest of his career. What can he do? Well, he's left himself a long way from the hole. That's about 40, 50 feet. But 2 putts will get him that 59. Just to get it anywhere on the green at all, Gary, I think he would have been happy with that.
Oh, I think so. I'm sure if you had a heart monitor on him, his heart would be really pitter-pattering at this stage. Josh Hilliard, not to be forgotten.
He can get a 61 by getting up and down here.
He's had some great golf. It's been slightly foreshadowed by everything else that's going on. Mitch Waite. Well, we saw him scootle over the green. How's his delicate touch? Bit like it's been all season, pretty nearly perfect.
We saw South leave his first putt well short on 17. Doesn't want to leave himself too much of a test here on the final green. Well, he didn't do the same thing again, but still a little bit of work to do.
Yes, under this pressure, and anything sort of further away than 6 inches is pressure. Hilliard. Ball just hopped on its run to the hole there and stopped it getting there. But a fine round of golf.
Yeah, and on another day, it would probably have been good enough for him. Eagle at the 12th, the obvious highlight for him, and it contributed to a back 9 of 29. 62 for Hilliard. But how could anyone keep up today with Jack South? We'll see him in a moment with the biggest putt of his life. But back to 17, and Robbie Busher.
Try.
And Mitch Waite roll this 3-footer in to salvage his par. Of course he can.
Well, there aren't many days in your life when you get to say these words. This putt for a 59. Jack South is the history man. Started with back-to-back birdies, 5 more in a row to complete a front nine of 27, and he kept that momentum going so well that by the time he got to the 17th, 2 pars to finish were all he needed. He's delivered, he's the champion, and he's done it with the first 59 on the PGA EuroPro Tour ever. As you'd expect, they've all come out to greet him as he walks in triumph off the 18th green.
130 Gs, that's awesome.
Well, he's done the maths, he knows how much it's worth to him. How on earth in that knowledge did he hold himself together so well over those closing holes, Gary?
Oh, it was fantastic. Keep your nerve under that biggest day of his golfing life.
And he knows now if he goes on to challenge for big titles at a higher level in the game, that he can cope with the intense pressure. What a day for him.
Fantastic. And certainly not after the Lord Mayor's show, as we watch Robbie Busher tapping in.
Let's hear then from the man who's shot 59.
Firstly, Jack, I've got to say congratulations. What a round you've had, what a tournament you've had. 59 on the final day, how are you feeling?
When people have said this in the past, they literally don't know what's happening. I literally don't know what's happening. It's just, it's a dream come true, you know, just knowing down the last few holes, all of the bonuses, 60 grand from Cobra, 59 grand from EuroPro, plus the win. You just got to try your hardest to stay in that present moment and just have the putt at hand or the shot at hand, and I don't think I hit a bad shot all day. I just hit everything near enough where I wanted it, and it's one of them rounds which I remember for the rest of my life, really, career changing, to be honest.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned the bonus there, 60 grand from Puma, of course the 59,000 from 59, and also the 12.5 from the tournament. 131,500, sorry. I can see you're quite emotional there, obviously. I heard you on the phone to your partner as well, saying this is a life-changing amount of money. You've got a baby on the way.
It's been an unbelievably hard year. I lost my stepmom in March overnight, just a shock to the whole family. Just my dad, just devastated, just beyond myself, and it really affected my game, you know, when something off the course like that's happening. And I had my dad on the bag for the first bunch of events, you know, first 7 or 8 events. And I found myself playing for him because I so wanted to win for him because of what he's been through. And obviously in the end we had to part ways because as much as I want him here, I just had to do it on my own, you know, and just, yeah, I mean, my game's turned around last week playing Challenge Tour, made the cut, didn't really finish anywhere, but it made me realise this is where I want to be. It lit a fire inside of me, and I've been working with my swing coach, Michael Welch, Andy Morrison, my mind coach, obviously my fiancée, Samantha, my mum, my dad, my sponsors, Kevin, Tamar Holmes, Cobra, Puma, the list goes on, and obviously sorry if I forgot anyone, but I can't think right now. I don't even know if I'm answering the question you asked me, to be honest.
At what point on the course did that actually come into mind? Were you thinking about that 59 and the bonuses and things?
I just stayed in my bubble, stayed doing what I'm doing, and I just said to myself all day, just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Like, thought comes and thought goes. You don't have to attach emotion to thinking about 59s. You just got to keep going, and then I did. And yeah, I mean, that putt on 17, I mean, it was probably a 50-footer up the hill, and it was so slow, and I left it 6.5 feet short, and Josh actually made birdie, so I needed that to stay 2 ahead. So it weren't just for that, it's the golf tournament's on the line as well, you know, and that's the putt of my life. 6.5 feet, left to right slider, and then obviously on the last, I just said to myself, just let your subconscious take over. You can swing a golf club, just see your target and hit it, and because your mind's like all over the place.
What were your thoughts in the last 2 putts there on the 18th?
I actually, on the birdie putt, I had a weird sense of calm, you know, and I rolled it down there. I just was saying to myself, pace is king gear, pace is everything, and I got the pace, and then 2.5 feet-ish, I just said, keep my head down. Let the putter do what it's got to do, and it did, and it went in, so delighted.
Well, congratulations again, but 66 coming in today in order of merit. Obviously, Tour champs ahead, you're in there, so
Yeah.
Another thing to think about, really.
Yeah, this tour is insane, the quality. I mean, a 7 under cut last week, and I've missed a couple of cuts at around 4 under this year, so your golf's never far away, and there's so many good players here, and it's just a shame there's only, I don't know, 5 spots, because there's easily 20, 30, maybe more guys on the day who can compete at the top level, and this tour's just going from strength to strength, and to be on top out of all of these, a phenomenal feeling. Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations once again.
Can't say any more. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Very proud.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
You know, it's amazing, isn't it, Gary? These players, week after week, they have to deal with accommodation and travel expenses and everything else that goes with playing on this tour, and they're trying to knock off a few pounds from their expenses here and there, and then suddenly they win £131,500. It's a world that they would never expect to be in.
Completely. You know, the pennies are so important to look after. The players themselves have said, you know, it is expensive to play this. There's prize money, but it is that stepping stone. But suddenly, you've won. You know, it's like winning a first prize on a much higher level of tour, and it's a big amount of money and changes things.
I was going to say he'll be getting a stretch limo to the next event, but of course it's on the Isle of Man, so that's not going to be possible. But he's enjoying these moments, isn't he?
And quite rightly so. You know, he should savour it, remember it. You know, hopefully he'll do it many more times, but this may be the only chance he gets.
Mitch Waite has already had a couple of wins this season. I think he's probably the only player who'll remember the 2021 campaign with as much fondness as Jack South, after what we've just seen. Not quite the heights of yesterday's 62. Couldn't get 2 birdies in a row at any stage. On a day like this, that was never going to be enough. But this young man from Filton Golf Club is having quite a year. He continues it by shooting 65 to share 3rd place with Davidson.
Another example of it. Just awkward when it comes off the fringe. Always snags the ball up. But Robbie Bush has had a bit of a frustrating last 9 holes.
Talk about frustration, this man has really had it. All the talk was about him at the start of the day. But he's been largely forgotten, just hasn't been able to keep up with the pace. Only had 1 birdie in the whole round, that came at the 3rd. A double bogey on 15. Really summed up a very disappointing back 9 of 38. It's a 72 for William Harold, but at least he's finishing the day with a smile on his face. And this, the last stroke of what has been a memorable tournament. Fast start for Busher, but bogey at the 3rd seemed to take the wind out of his sails, and just when he looked to be getting it back, another setback came along on 13. 67 is his highest round of the week, but it'll be his highest finishing position this year. In the end though, it's all about Jack South. 11 birdies in a mesmerising 59, and in the end he finishes 2 ahead of Josh Hilliard, whose own commendable effort of 62 was somewhat overshadowed, not just by South, but also by Jack Davidson, whose 60 sees him tied for 3rd with Waite. And the trophy to go with all the money. The greatest day in the golfing life of Jack South. On this evidence, there'll be many more memorable days to come. And South is heading north on the order of merit, up 55 places to 11th. Waite extends his lead over John Parry, who tied for 30th. Will Enifer missed the cut, and so did Dermot McIlroy for the 3rd time in a row since his breakthrough win at Luton Hoo. The greatest day in EuroPro Tour history? Jack South would surely agree, as he departs leaving links £131,500 better off after his winning 59.
I can't stop myself from falling. I just want